Jawb Racing 200. Minute can't get to the inside. Dane Cruz is there as they come through the tri-oval. Jeffrey Armistead is going to win the iRacing.Funny 250. NAOR is going to block, coming down to it at the line. It's going to be, I think, Dylan Parker's going to go back-to-back. He will win here at Darlington. And Luke Knupp is going to be a winner in the Slide Jawb Racing League for the first time. He scores first time in his career. Blaze McKinney is a winner in the Slide Jawb Racing League. He takes the victory here at Kansas.
Across the line, Dalton Kilroy is your winner.
Jonathan Parker scores the victory, and then more importantly, he scores the Season 10 championship here in the Slide Jawb Racing League.
And we are live here from Daytona International Speedway, the virtual sim racing capital of the world, where tonight the stars of the Slide Jawb Racing League will do battle. It is duel time to determine the starting lineup for the iRacing.Funny 250, and we're going to have a little fun with it here tonight in our duel races because it's not going to be your typical broadcast. See, for tonight, we are going to have driver booths for you to listen to, and this will go one of two ways. This will go great, or this will be pitiful, miserable, every word you can think of that'll say, man, please don't watch this race. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited for it. Tonight for Duel 1, we are going to be joined by 4 drivers that will be a part of the booth. 2 of them will be joining us. You've heard them multiple times before. They're not new voices to the booth. That is Adam Kuhn and Jonathan Parker. But also joining for the first time in a long time, we've got Michael Kruger. And joining the first time officially to the JCTV booth, Dylan Parker, driver of the number 3 here in the Slide Jawb Racing League. Gentlemen, duel number 1. You all are all racing in duel 2 tonight, so you all kind of have that advantage of not having to race in right now. You get a break to watch this duel. How is that feeling for you guys, as you get ready to head into this?
I'm just going to be watching the drivers, I'm going to sit here, going to see what they do, what mistakes they do, and try to avoid it in duel 2 and see how the field's going to race each other.
I'm just going to kind of really see how these guys approach it from the drop of the hat and just kind of play by ear. I mean, I'm going to just try to really just see what works and what doesn't for what I could apply for Duel 2.
Yeah, I'm not going to be doing much racing myself. I got a front row spot to keep intact. I know Luke's going to go about it a different way in this race. But yeah, I can't really afford to be wrecking my race car, so I'll probably just be out back and just watching you guys. So tonight for me is just a lot of fun.
And these guys are pretty much locked in. I'm going to be trying to get a spot for next Tuesday, so it's going to be just trying to see what happens for the transfer in this race and try and avoid it for the next race, and watch my teammates what they do here in this one.
Yeah, you all have the vantage point of getting ready for a race after this, getting ready for that second duel, and just kind of watching how things go. And, I think that's the fun part about it, with like a driver broadcast, especially when it comes to the sense of having a dual set of double races where you guys get to race the second race. You all get to kind of kick back and watch what happens and see kind of what's going on. And we mentioned, JP not having to worry about tonight. You're here to come in, kick back, relax, and then just, complete the race and keep your top 2 starting spots. So that's kind of what you're here for. But you mentioned Luke Knupp, of course, our pole winner for the iRacing.Funny 250. He is somewhere in the infield. There he is. There's that number 5 machine kind of skating around there in that number 5 Luke Knupp Racing Toyota Supra. That, I believe, is a Oscar Enriquez Designs paint scheme new to 2024. Luke, of course, a fantastic season. You cannot talk about 2023 without talking about how amazing of a season Luke Knupp had. Did not get that championship, and I know one person in here that's ready to smile and talk about that, but, coming so close after a career year, he is looking to go back on it and, kind of have that same year, if not better.
Oh, we for sure will. This kid is ridiculously fast, and I can call him a kid. I mean, he's only 17. He's a lot younger than me, and Jesus, he's so hard to beat. I think I got a little lucky, but he's gonna be real hard to beat.
Yeah, for the races I've been able to call and watch for Slide Jawb, he is always up in the front, trying to just make his way up and trying to storm after an early mistake, and he always tries to get the job done and always does a phenomenal job either getting it done or putting on a show for the broadcast if he's not able to. And I think tonight he's just going to try and do whatever he can to control the field and stay up front in this first race.
Yeah, I mean, for my tenure I've run in this league, Luke Knupp has definitely been one of the best, and from last season, from what I recall, he was probably the guy to beat almost every week. He was pretty much fast everywhere he went, and I'm pretty sure tonight he's either going to, I'm pretty sure he's just going to try to stay up front and try to win the duel.
I'm expecting Luke Knupp just to try to lead every lap, and he's probably going to wreck before he gets into this race because he's got that guaranteed spot. But he's going to be the most aggressive in the field for sure.
Well, you mentioned guaranteed. It's only guaranteed if he makes it to the end of this race and completes all the laps. He has to be running at the end of this duel to be able to keep that starting spot. But locked into the race, he is for sure. You know, with the way the provisionals are lining up and the way that the locks are for everybody that's got to have them from the past champions and everything, Luke Knupp is in the best spot to lock in no matter what, with the qualifying time as well to boot. So it's not like he's going to have to worry about anything. He's out there racing for fun, and he's looking to go back-to-back as he was the winner of the duel last season. He was the winner of Duel 2. Now this time, one spot better racing in Duel 1. But there's a lot of guys that are in this field tonight, enough to where we have you know, a lot of people that are on the possibility of going home. We'll go with our starting lineup when we get to the racing broadcast as itself, instead of going through just this practice session, so we can actually go through it. But, you know, top 14 in this race will qualify their way in, and then after that, it all just depends on how provisionals line up, how the speed charts line up. You know, the guys that are pretty much in trouble right now, Ty McIntosh and Duncan Faw, are currently the ones that are really on the chopping block more than anything. And right now, Duncan Faw looks like he has the second fastest lap time in practice, which practice doesn't mean anything. You know, practice at a super freeway is, you know, like flipping a coin and calling heads or tails. It's not really too impressive, but he is definitely one that's going to have to be up there and competing for it when it gets to the end.
Yeah, those guys, they're going to be racing with extra motivation, I think, out of any of the guys in the field. I mean, they didn't set a single lap down qualifying, so for them, it's basically 14th or bust for those two, pretty much. I mean, everyone else ahead of them all made a lap in qualifying, so they're pretty much just going to go caution to the wind, just see what happens in their duels, and just do what they can to get 14th or better to make it for the iFunny 250.
So with 4 minutes to go here in practice before we get started with duel number 1, what do you say we do some race picks? We'll start with you, Adam.
I'll go with someone who we saw win here a couple weeks ago on JCTV. I'll go with the driver of the performance Inherit Speed Sport 56, Oscar Enriquez. I think he's going to be one to watch out for tonight. We know how strong he is on these plate tracks, and I think he's going to be one to watch out for. He made a lot of aggressive and bold moves in this race last season, and I don't think anything's going to change tonight.
Well, he took my pick, so I'm going to take a wide swing at it. I'm going to pick Caden Atkins. He hasn't won here in Slide Jawb in quite a while, and I think it's time. I think he's going to break through it finally after years, and he's going to get it done in this duel and get him another victory in Slide Jawb.
Well, I know there's a lot of picks on the table. There's a lot of good picks, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to pick one of my teammates from Circumference Ultimate Motorsports. I'm going to have to pick the O2 of Jeffrey Armistead, last year's winner of the iFunny 250.
Yeah, for me, I don't know how you can't pick someone in a Dale Jr. car. I'm going to pick Jared Wilson. my friend over at the JVM crew. I love those guys. And he's very good at plate racing. He's gotten a lot more confident in drafting. I really think that he can break through tonight.
Those are your JCTV picks to win. Of course, my pick doesn't really count. Tonight's broadcast, I'm all just kind of laid back watching. But if I were to pick somebody, if I were to be on the hot spot to pick somebody right here, right now, you got to go with Dane Cruz. You got to go with
Dane Cruz.
You got to go with Dane Cruz. He is the winner
That's-
of the duel last season. So, I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying Dane Cruz is definitely going to be one to watch. That number 1 machine, I don't know where he is. It looks like he's on pit lane and feed. There he is. Of course, he was 2 times in a row the pole sitter for the iRacing.Funny 250. And then this season didn't have a good qualifying run, but still looking to go back-to-back in the duel wins. So that'll be his goal for tonight, just to keep that back-to-back streak of winning the duels if he can do so. But we've got about a minute and a half left in practice. I don't think anybody's really out there making any actual hot laps. Really, nobody is. Justin Burnham's out here on track, 11th fastest as it stands, but by himself, not going to really be able to improve your time, running by yourself. You're going to have to be in a pack of some kind. You're going to have some kind of drafting help. Everybody else, it seems like, has had more fun just kind of running into the tire barriers and just having a little fun as things stand. I see Brayton Laster's out on track. Of course, NASCAR driver, the ARCA series. Brayton coming out here, that JCTV Chevy Camaro with the number 31 plastered all over it. It's always so fun to see all the people that come in and race here on JCTV, including, the Slide Job Racing League, having Brayton Laster come in and run some races here. It's always pretty fun. Brayton's a really cool guy, real awesome to talk to. You see Darren Roy spinning on the apron down there, but, what's it going to feel like for you guys, watching qualifying, watching these guys try to race their way in, somebody like Brayton Laster, who's got experience with the real thing, the real cars in the super speedways?
I think it's just going to be a learning curve for some of these guys because some of them haven't raced in Slide Job. It's going to be interesting because the Clash was a good sign, but we're just going to have to see how they handle driving around some new guys.
Yeah, that's very true, and it's kind of a not necessarily a concern, but it's something you have to be mindful of at the beginning of almost every season. Is new people, and because once you get into the season, it's like I know how you're gonna race, I know how Luke's gonna race, and I know how all the regulars are gonna race, but someone new like Brayton Laster, I haven't raced around him a lot. I haven't even really raced around Oscar Enriquez a lot or Nathan Gianni a lot. Those people like that, it's like I don't think they're gonna be a weapon, but you do have to be mindful of that. They're not used to the way you race, and you're not used to the way they race.
Well, as it stands, we got the field lined up ready to go. Sorry to cut off whoever was getting ready to talk. But we're going to quickly go through the starting grid here for duel number 1. It is pole sitter Luke Knupp starting to the inside of row 1. To his outside is third place qualifier Oscar Enriquez. Then in row number 2, Jeffrey Armistead, the defending race winner, and Dane Cruz, the defending duel winner for duel number 1. Brett Bennett lines up in 5th. To his outside is going to be Jackson Glenn Austin. Then in row 4, we see Donald Stern and Brayton Laster. Row 5, rounding its top 10 is Jared Wilson and Gabe Cazzola. And then back there in 11th place, Nathan Kiani making his start here, his first start officially for Slide Job Racing League with Doug Denise to his outside. Ryan Bogey and Rivers Jones comprise row number 7. Row 8, Zach Sanders and Caden Atkins. Row 9 sees Zachary Wareham and Michael Thorpe Jr. And rounding out top 20 is Jacob Locklear and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. 21st, Sean Ryan. 22nd, Darren Roy. 23rd is Justin Burnham, and Duncan Fall is 24th to round out your field. 12 rows make 24 drivers vying for 14 spots. We got one driver who's at least locked up for sure where he's starting in this duel. That is Luke Knupp starting on the pole. Gentlemen, it's a driver's broadcast, and I'm not a driver here tonight. So I will be taking a step back. I will be out of the way, and it'll be on you guys to call these 20 laps of racing here at Daytona.
All right.
Very well. We'll take hand of this for Duel 1, Dawson. Thank you for turning it over.
Yeah, wish us luck. It could go really good or really awful. I feel like I'm in the BSR booth for the first time again. It's a little nerve-wracking.
We'll just take this one step at a time and just count it down lap by lap and see where it goes from there.
Yeah, one thing's for sure, especially with Luke Knupp up front and Oscar Enriquez, a couple of these guys, They're gonna make it exciting. I know. I think this is gonna be the exciting duel. We always talk about in real life anyway. Usually one duel's really exciting, one's kind of boring, just kind of single file. I think this is gonna be the exciting one.
Well, we talked about a little bit before the race, the guys who need to make it in that top 14. Only Duncan Fall, out of those two that had to race their way in tonight, gridded tonight. So Duncan Fall is starting 24th tonight. He's going to have to try and make his way up 10 spots here pretty shortly, just 20 laps.
Well, considering that there's going to be a cutoff here, do y'all think we're going to see any team games here? People trying to help teammates?
Oh yeah, and I'm looking at one right now. Circumference Ultimate Motorsports there with Oscar starting second, Jeffrey Armistead starting P3, and Brett Bennett starting 5th here. I believe those guys are going to be trying to work together, and I believe Dane Cruz will also help them out too.
Who knows? Maybe we see Dane Cruz help out his team, Cruz Auto Racing, in the 2-car.
That's true.
Because he's not the best plate racer, but that is his car.
Pace truck is off, and we are away for Duel 1 at Daytona.
Looks like the lineup didn't change much at all.
No,
Yeah,
things are already starting to get a little dicey here on lap 2.
1,000th of a second separated Oscar Enriquez and Luke out there at the line. Oscar on the bottom is going to be able to take the lead with Jeffrey Armistead behind him.
And Armistead is clear of Nup on the high side, so it looks like the bottom has the advantage at the moment as Brett Bennett's hooked right behind Armistead as we have Circumference Ultimate Motorsports 1, 2, 3 leading in Duel 1 here at Daytona.
That little group of friends there, they kind of controlled the AmsOil Truck Series race, and I'd be a little afraid to see them lined up because they're very, very committed to each other.
I don't know, Luke cannot be the one to break him up. If he's up here the entire race, doesn't get phased out, he's gonna make some aggressive moves and maybe shake it up.
He's got a run coming back on this high side here with Jackson Glenn Austin behind him. Side by side with Armistead down the back straightaway now, guys, and a little bit calmer here on lap 3 after that very chaotic opening lap.
Yeah, I thought Luke about wrecked himself making a move to the high side off of 3 on lap 1.
Whoa! Oh, wow. Sorry to cut you off.
No,
Jeez.
it's okay. It scared me for a moment.
That scared us all.
Yeah, one person that we really haven't mentioned much yet, but Jackson Glenn Austin, I know he really likes plate racing. I know he really likes the next gen, so I'd love to see. He's very aggressive. I really want to see him kind of try and control this race a little bit.
Jackson loves his next gen. He struggles in Xfinity. He's trying to get better with it, so him lead some laps in this race will probably help him out a little bit and try not to wreck because he sometimes struggles keeping the car underneath him, but he's been getting better at it.
Yeah, as a championship race car driver, sometimes all you need is a little bit of confidence to really boost you along, take you to that next level.
I think he's going to have a good pusher here. We mentioned a little bit there in the practice, Brayton Laster making his debut here in Slide Job all over the back of Jackson entering 2 and 3.
So far, we have a double file train. No one's trying to make it 3 wide at the moment, as we are just making our way to completing lap 4 right now.
I'm interested in seeing who will be the first person to try to just control the outside line instead of just getting out in front of the first car on the inside and taking it. Because if you stay on the outside and you control the race, it makes it a lot easier to stay up there.
Yeah, I always kind of wonder why people go to the inside there. I always feel like I could control the race from that second line, but usually, what do I know? I always end up wrecked at these tracks anyway.
I think it's kind of a preference thing. I feel like if you move bottom, it may not be best for like moving, but it's a bit of a safe spot for like where you got to go. Like when you're trying to miss like a big wreck that's happening, you have more space to go on the bottom than you would be if you're up top because you're kind of trapped up there.
One thing the drivers mentioned on the radio a moment ago, guys, is the cars are running hot. Brian Laster, second in the outside, spoke up and mentioned that. Oscar Enriquez kind of said the same. He's second on the bottom, and those are two of the most crucial cars in these lines right now.
Yeah, the pushers really do. Sorry to cut you off there, Mikey.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah, those second cars, like you said, are very, very crucial in determining which line moves, even more than how many cars are in a line. You can honestly, I feel sometimes if you got even just 3, 4, 5 cars and you got a good pusher, you can kind of make it work.
Looking toward the back there, with those 2 cars overheating, that's going to slow up both the lines. I'm going to see if someone tries to make a 3rd lane here, if they get a run, because it's very possible if they're not hooked up with each other. That slows up the whole lane. Coming out of 2 here, looks like Oscar's probably trying to drag it back a little bit, cool his car off, so Brayton hasn't got a break whatsoever between him and Jackson, so I'm expecting that inside line's going to pull away here, because Brayton can't keep it up forever.
Yeah, Oscar is doing a pretty good job of just, relaxing, letting his car cool off a little bit and being a little bit more relaxed. But, I talk about this in the truck broadcast sometimes, how, these cars and the trucks are a lot more calm than the next gen. Next gen, you can kind of make your own moves. You can kind of make your own lines a little bit. So you get bigger runs. These are a lot more tame. It's so hard to build up a run. It takes a very different skill to be able to move through the field. It looks like you're on I-95 right now, just kind of nowhere to go.
Yeah, these are way more momentum based than the next gen. These cars, it's all about manipulating the air. The best way to push in these cars, honestly, is just get as close as you can to the bumper without touching them. That contact slows you up, so looks like Oscar's got that down to a T right now. Just push and look ahead without getting too close. That's going to save his temps and honestly be safer.
One thing we haven't mentioned yet, guys, is the fuel capacity for these cars tonight is 50% than what we normally see for the Xfinity cars, so we can't make it on we can't make it at all in this race right now. We're going to need one stop, so it's going to be very important if we run somehow green all the way to the end of this race, what happens at the end of that fuel window.
We're going to see a chaotic pit road.
Yeah, especially people coming over the radio. Oh my gosh, Jackson Glenn Austin about died, and that's going to stack up the top.
Brian Bogas, I'll go around.
Bogey's around, Sean Ryan, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, I think Jacob Locklear's in it, and they're still green somehow.
Yeah, Duncan Fall was caught up,
And there's
caution
the
now
caution.
flies. Don't
Edmonds did
think
that caution.
Duncan Fall had damage though, guys, but he got held up a little bit from that.
No pit stop. JCTV replay.
As here we go back here, it might have been a chain reaction as Jackson Glenn Austin was sideways, and back there it looks like they just stacked up from Michael Thorpe Jr. maybe slowing down, and that just kind of jostled the top a little bit, caused some guys to just kind of get into each other. And
Good save. Does he hit the 0-0? Ooh.
terrific save, terrific save by
Yeah, great
Jacob
save.
Locklear.
Yeah, I said Bogey went around. He actually had a good save himself, too.
Some great awareness by Jacob.
Here's a closer look here.
This could have been a lot bigger.
Yeah, that could have been huge.
Just see the chain reaction of the front of it going all the way through the pack, and Bogey with a great save there.
Oh man, jeez.
Burn him.
Guys
Able
like
to
Burnham,
get slowed up.
Faw, Roy, guys like that.
Everyone did a great job at slowing up for him. That could have been way bigger than what it was.
Sean Ryan with a little drift in there too.
On board of Jacob Locklear for what he sees.
Right.
Ooh. Ooh.
And how he didn't hit this.
Yeah,
Oh.
not great hits, but better than hitting that.
Seeing up on my other monitor, I see Luke Knupp did hit from the lead.
Got a slow motion view of this.
Now, do we have a crew chief on weather to tell us if they say fuel under caution, they can make it?
I did hear from Brett Bennett tell me that you can somehow, you could have the option to stay out. You can stay out, how he in practice with some of his teammates, how you can go 20 laps, like just 20 laps in the pack. So maybe you could save, but if we go to green, white, checkered territory, you're getting sketchy. So if you stick to staying out, you're praying you're not going to get a green, white, checkered. And I'm pretty sure a lot of the guys that stayed out, I don't know how many, they're basically going to be banking on this going green and no green, white, checkers.
There's quite a lot to save, and this is the top 18 stayed out there, and it's interesting because Luke, obviously we've talked about his position is set as long as he crosses the finish line, so he can give up his track position and say, hey, if there's a green, white, checkered, I just stall that track position right back. If not, I know he's confident in his ability to get back to the front.
Will be interesting to see how this race plays out, but with time winding down for some of those guys that are really like trying to get in, like, and some of the guys that were involved in the incident, they're kind of hoping that we get a bunch of yellows so they can kind of improve their spots, and hoping that by having more wrecks they could possibly benefit and get some more positions gained.
Yeah, one thing about all these positions is that NAOR won't be able to race. You know, he's got some personal things going on right now, so that does open up another provisional, and that should lock in Michael Thorpe, Final Four competitor from last season. I just want to talk about that for a little bit, man. He was so fast that race, by the way. Oh my gosh, he was so fast, so tough to race around, and it was unfortunate what happened to him, but I know he's going to come back stronger. Thorpe always does.
Yeah. Sad to see Noah won't make the race.
Yeah, love racing.
He's a great part of the league. Make sure everything happens every week. He set up everything for success. So hopefully he comes back, and he comes back rejuvenated.
Just a little shout out to you, Mayori, if you're listening right now. We're gonna miss you, but kind of like I said about Mike Thorpe, I know you'll come back stronger because you always do.
He's out. McIntosh isn't here. So, as we're rolling to the green here, we have our Michael Thorpe Jr. holding the last spot for the Type 14, as Duncan Fall, who has to race his way in, is 22nd. He was pretty much kind of in the middle of that wreck, but he got away clean. He's going to have his work cut out for him with 8 to go here if he's going to want to participate in the iFunny 250 next Tuesday night on JCTV.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how much experience Duncan has, but he's going to have to get aggressive. He's going to have to not be afraid to make some people angry.
Pace car dives down. We're going to get the race restarted with 8 laps to go.
Jackson Glenn Austin leads the field with Braden Lester behind him, as Oscar Enriquez leads the top with Jeffrey Armistead behind him and Brett Bennett.
Lester way more connected with Jackson Glenn Austin going than 1. I think the outside line is going to get a great run to come out of 2 here, though.
Yeah, but the right behind Nathan Chiani, they're all 3 wide. They really put the they really took the gloves off for this with 8 to go as Oscar Enriquez clears Jackson Glenn Austin, but Jackson fights back on the bottom to try to challenge Oscar for the lead.
It's interesting that last wreck was caused because Brayton and Jackson there, they had a little bit of a weird push. It's got everyone stacked up, and then
Looking up, taking
Kiani
3 wide.
Kiani is 3 wide with Atkins in the middle between him and Thorpe as Kiani clears back to the middle line.
Going to be interested in seeing who starts that third line. It's going to happen. It's got to happen for anyone to make any moves. Get up through this field. I think it's going to be looking up.
yeah, you know, he's
Oh, yep.
line.
Oh, here comes
Caden Bucket.
Atkins. They're gonna
Caden
be
Atkins
3
making a power
wide
move.
between Nathan Kiani and Zach Saunders.
Oscar is gonna cleared Jackson Glenn. Oh, Jackson
Oh.
Glenn Austin gonna block up high. That,
Wow.
that looked just like Luke Knupp's move on lap 1.
Oh,
loose on the
what a
tri-oval.
save, Luke Knupp.
I can't really just put into words how unstable these cars are on the tri-oval. He did a great job to save that thing.
Here comes Caden Atkins with a huge run. They're going to be hauling down the backstretch.
And is that Justin Burnham I see all the way back there? And Nathan Kiani also on the top?
Oh, Gabe Kazama got turned!
Oh, my.
Locklear not as lucky this time.
Caution's out.
Big
Who had the
damage
lead
to Zola.
coming to the caution?
That's a good question. I'm going to put money on Jackson Glenn Austin, but I'm not 100% sure.
It looks like it's, yeah. JCTV replay.
He's going to be the one to get turned here and see how this happens.
Like Justin Burnham just caught
Oh.
Gabe Cazzola, and there they go.
Big damage for Jacob Locklear. His nose is falling off right
Jacob
there.
just could not catch a break this race.
Sorry, Dylan. I saw a car shoot up. I thought they were going to wreck Locklear more.
Poor Gabe Cazzola. He's had an interesting week so far.
We really have to
Social
say
media's
Gabe Cazzola.
not been nice to him.
No. J.R. Houston hasn't been nice to him, and this.
He deleted the tweet. Man, I got to get it.
Yeah, just
But here's on board of Jacob Locklear.
oh,
I honestly think that's more 50-50 when you look at it, believe it or not.
Yeah. But when
let's
you
take a
got
look at the blimp, Goodyear blimp view. Provided by Goodyear blimp. I don't know.
What if it's the Lowe's blimp?
No, I'm calling it the Home
Looks like-
Depot
yep.
blimp.
It's like it's 50-50.
Yeah, it's
Who knows
kind
there?
of a 50-50 thing. It's so those exit corners. I've seen that a lot past couple weeks here on JCTV, especially with the trucks at Las Vegas. That's kind of a plate-ish track, and sometimes the car on the outside comes down a little bit. And with the side draft, it sucks the cars together. And
Yeah.
that's a hard thing to put into words, but literally, you'll be going straight, they'll be tracking straight, but you'll get sucked together if you're close enough. And that little bit of net code kind of just caused that.
Yeah, since they introduced that new damage model to these cars, it's the aero model changed a little bit too. And if you get to someone's right rear, it suck you through a straw. It's so strong. It'll send you right to that car to the outside, and if you want it or not. So it's one thing you just gotta watch, even in these interesting plate races.
I did say that this was going to be the crazy race, and I think it has. It's been very entertaining here as we're winding down. We're going to be coming to, I think, 3 to go when they take the line this time. But I forgot the Mississippi Missile's in our race, guys. So I don't
Oh,
think.
no.
And that he always gets 110%. So I'm definitely going to the back now. Just kind of remember that.
And you're starting in front of me.
Can we just take a look at Caden Atkins, who started in the back, and he's in third now. In those 2 laps, he went from who knows what to third. In between all those cars and all of the aggressive moves between everyone. just making some great moves, and it looks like he's might have a chance at this race.
Right, Dylan. He made one great move. Everyone's so afraid to start a third line, and he saw Luke. He's pretty comfortable racing around Luke, and he said, "I'm gonna jump up and I'm gonna trust you." And they were going. They might have took the lead if that caution not have come out. Excuse me.
One person I want for everyone to keep an eye on is Dane Cruz. All right, he's a patient plate racer, extremely patient. When it comes down to those last 2 laps, 3 laps, man can make some moves and he can make something happen. All right, who knows? I don't know how he does it because you never see him, but he just always ends up at the front. And as we saw in the clash, have a photo finish with one other driver in movie style fashion.
I want to give a shout out to the driver right behind Dane, is Donald Stern, who so new to iRacing, and he's done a perfect job just staying in line and keeping his car clean. And I hope that Donald's car stays clean for the finish. I know the JBM driver, so I'm gonna give a shout out to you, Donald. You're doing a great job so far.
One thing to mention while we're working the backstretch is 14th right now is Sean Ryan. And how about a comeback for him? He was involved in the first caution. He was involved in the very first caution. Right now, actually, wait. Yeah, it keeps going back and forth, but he's basically tinkering back and forth on getting in that 14th spot right now, and he was in the first wreck. And here he is with a shot to get in. And he's basically tinkering back and forth with Michael Thorpe Jr. right now. And one more thing to mention before we go back is Duncan Faw, who has to race his way in, is 19th, I believe. Yes, 19th. And Justin Burnham, who was involved in that race incident, is 18th. And those two, practically at this rate, have to get in to the top 14 as we roll off turn 4.
Well, we'll see if we'll have the big one here coming down to the last few laps. Jackson Glenn Austin going to lead the field back to green as the pace car dives off.
There's a natural green-white checker here as Jackson takes the green flag. 2 to go here at Daytona.
Inside lane did not get going. Luke Knupp's going to take it to the inside, and looks like he's going to get behind Caden Atkins if he get the run. Oscar all over Jackson Glenn Austin.
The front pack is completely broken up right now. I mean, it's a 5-car breakaway, which is hard to believe. But this is what we're seeing is Caden Atkins is trying to get clear of Oscar Enriquez as they've still broken away from the rest of the field as here comes a hard charging Braden Laster on the bottom.
Expect him to take it 3 maybe.
Rivers Jones is in the sucker hole right now, middle. He's bleeding spots as that's really going to make some implications for the transfer spot. As here comes Oscar Enriquez fighting hard on the top, rolling through 3 and 4.
Keeping it clean so far.
Hang on to it.
As coming down to the white flag, Oscar this time by.
Neck and neck between the two lines. Every line, or everyone on the top and bottom is just moving back and forth right now. You got guys back there desperately trying to sit at 3. I think Darren Roy's back there as Jackson Glenn Austin's getting big pushes from Caden Atkins from Luke Knupp. As, he makes an aggressive block and he's going through the sucker hole as Oscar
the 42 gets turned.
And they're 3 wide as Caden Atkins.
Atkins is through. One driver.
Aiden's the only one left.
Oh my gosh!
Caden
James
Atkins.
Busher! I can't believe it! James Busher is gonna win this race!
Caden Atkins, the lone survivor. The lone survivor. Write a book on I Survived Daytona Duel 250.
As Michael Thorpe rolls forward, Justin Burnham is 5th! Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Zachary Austin Faw, here it goes! Here comes Austin Faw! He's in! He got in! He gets stumped by I think he's in! I think
he needed it! He needed that!
Austin Faw! Do you believe it? Austin
This
Faw!
changes everything.
Wow!
And I don't mean to be
Unbelievable.
that guy, but Luke Knupp is sitting on the apron. That could mean something for your pole sitter.
Wow!
Is he gonna finish?
Unbelievable!
He
No, he
stopped.
stopped in turn 4.
His engine must have blown. There's
He
no
had
way.
to have, yeah, and you can't get a push on the last lap. That's not going to count.
Brett stopped in turn 4. He's getting pushed by Oscar.
Can I just get bragging rights real quick about my pick winning the race?
You definitely rigged this. Did you write the script?
I don't know. I manifested it.
You were talking about him all race. That was your main storyline.
I was watching. I could just see it.
Unbelievable.
No real clip.
Unbelievable! What a race! What a James
And look at Dan
Swisher
Cruz
finish.
there.
Dan
Where
Cruz
did Dan
seen his
Cruz
car
finish?
win. Dan Cruz got third.
Yeah, Luke
Like
Knupp
I said.
is stopped.
Like I said, I read him like a book.
Unbelievable.
Oh, what a wild finish.
Oh my gosh, I'm shaking in my boots right now.
Let's look at the results.
Oh, we're shaking right now.
JCTV results.
Oh my gosh, look at the gap.
So your winner
seconds
is
at Daytona.
Keegan Atkins.
The most competitive Daytona race known to man.
Rodriguez, a year behind, finishes in second with Dane Cruz seeing his car win. He gets to finish third. Michael Thorpe Jr. finishing fourth. Rounding out your top 5 is Justin Burnham with Jonathan Jurgensmeyer finishing the sixth. Zachary Wareham finishing in 7th. Darren Rory, wow, in 8th. Jackson Glenn Austin in 9th after getting turned on the last lap. And my pick, my dog, Jared Wilson, rounding out your top 10.
Rounding out 11th, the guy who had to race his way in, Duncan Fall. It will race next Tuesday. He finishes 11th. Doug Denice, P12. Donald Cern, P13. Gabe Gazzola, the last spot to secure their spot, 14th. And he was involved in the second to last wreck before. Attaboy for him. P15, Braden Laster. P16, Jacob Locklear. I guess P17, Jeffrey Armistead, I think. And then
Question mark?
and then
Yeah.
I think P19's Brett Bennett. Don't kill me.
We ain't gonna kill you, though.
I think P20 goes to Nathan Kiani. He was involved in the bad wreck. And I guess Luke Knupp's P22 as Zach Saunders P21.
Cammy! Fix it, Cam!
Yeah.
So, JCTV replay.
You.
We need to look at that replay because
Yeah.
3 different cars flipped there in turn 3.
Oh, that was a massive crash.
I
Wow.
just saw Braden Laster in front of the field the wrong way, and it was just devastating. Everyone piling in behind.
The ones that's got to sting the most is Braden Laster. He was right here
We gotta have
on the last lap.
I petitioned an onboard of Duncan Fall and Justin Burnham. Just how in the world did they get the finishes they got? How? I need to see it.
It was in the back.
There were at least 5 cars airborne at once.
Oh my gosh.
Brett Bennett.
Oh my,
Nathan
Nathan
Keane.
Keane.
Nathan
Wow.
Keane in
Jeffrey
world defense.
This is 2 races in a row where we had a
Keon-
huge wreck and 1 or 2 cars only get through.
Right
I know
there.
Nathan Keani's gonna be posting that one on Twitter tonight.
I was thinking that was like a replay of the clash when I saw it happen.
Here we
I
get to see
just-
some rednecks in the infield.
I just want to say Kiani Bros were in pain for Kiani Bros. The Kiani Bros are in heavy pain right now.
And I saw one of the Mocout Petty fans with some mellow yellow in the infield. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Had to plug my sponsor. Sorry.
No. So they got split 3 wide, and then I forgot who spun through there. Jackson Glenn also just got turned by, I think, Doug Denice, and all hell just broke loose.
It might have been off the bumper of Laster again. I would have to go see.
Sean Ryan was the one that got hooked on the back straightaway.
The onboarder
Yeah,
we
you're
have
right.
to see is Justin Burnham. How he got from all the way in the back and drove through for 5th. How in the world did he do that? Just
Look at this.
oh my,
Oh my
gosh.
goodness.
Oh my
goodness.
gosh. Oh my god!
Out of my way. I want to make the Great American Race.
Wow. Unbelievable.
The greatest American race.
Oh my god, Duncan
Bonds
Ball.
another one.
Look at the. This is his race to get in right here.
With a blown engine.
Unbelievable. He had to race his way in, and he did in the most bizarre fashion you could possibly script up.
It's not over yet because he's gonna get spun right here coming to the tri-oval.
I think Jared's gonna get into him unintentionally there.
Oh,
Oh, just slight contact there.
but he's in.
But 10th, 11th, doesn't matter the difference.
Poor Doug.
So first up, we have our P3 finisher for tonight's first duel here at Daytona, and his name is Dane Cruz, which he'll be joining any moment.
Hey Dane, it's the guys up at the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do.
Well, it wasn't the prettiest finish for yourself. You may not manage to cross the line in third, but talk about what you saw in the final corner and who took the finish there.
Well, first of all, I want to say, Caden Goat Kings, you know, he's got my name on the car, so I'm pretty proud of him. You know, he won the duel. He's got himself a good starting position. I got myself a good starting position, so it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, that was a last lap melee there. Like, we were looking good on the bottom, and then they all just wrecked, and I just drove it into the grass, and then Oscar and I hit each other there, and I thought I was done, but no, we're good. I finished third. I'm happy. It was crazy, but dang, I think it could have been executed better, but you know, you take it.
Yeah, trying to execute it better. Those last couple laps were just crazy, especially on the inside line. What were you thinking when you took the white flag and it just all erupted pretty much in front of you going 3 wide?
Well, I don't know. It all happened so suddenly. Like, there's just one car that started going sideways, so I just took it as low as I could to avoid it, and I got past it. So that's all that matters. But that was a huge wreck. You know, we're like 2 weeks in a row where we got a huge one, and it's kind of funny, but you hate to see it.
Well, with this finish, you're going to line up 7th next Tuesday night. What is your mindset going into next Tuesday night's iRacing.Funny 250 after what you just witnessed and experienced there in the last corner of tonight's race?
Well, I want to win it for myself. I'm going to try. I want to run up front all week, but I'm not sure what my teammates are going to do. I think we disagree on that. I think they're going to sit in the back, but I want to lead. You know, I want to go for it. So that's my opinion. They'll probably tell you otherwise, but yeah, that's my plan.
Well, it's a 3rd place finish here tonight in the first Duel 50 race. Who do you have to shout out and thank with that run, a podium run here tonight?
Shout out to Caden. He did good. He's a goat. Good job, Caden.
All right, thanks for your time, Dane. Good luck next Tuesday night, and hope you enjoy this next race.
Thank you.
Now we head to Jonathan Parker, who is caught up with our 2nd place finisher tonight.
Oscar Enriquez, well, that was one hectic last lap, and you were up front all race. So walk me through how you ended up finishing 2nd there, 2 seconds behind the leader.
Yeah, so me and Jeffrey were cooking right on the top lane, and I had a feeling that Jackson would throw that block on the last lap, like exactly like that, and learned from BSR, went to the top, put him 3, and then well, they wrecked, and they wrecked huge, but didn't see it coming until I got hit by Luke there. And then I cut down to the bottom of the track, and all of a sudden Dane Cruz is there, but by then we were already clear of the wreck, so that's I finished second.
Yeah, you brought up BSR, and boy, you ran good in that race and ended up winning it. So you worked very well with your SBLD teammates in that one. I assume the plan is going to be similar for next week, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Any shout outs that you wanna give?
I would like to give a shout out to Jeffrey for pushing again, and shout out to all my teammates in SBLD, or the Circumference Ultimate Motorsport, that is, and
That is true.
and all the broadcasters, JCTV. All y'all are great and put on a great show every week.
That was our second place finisher, Oscar Enriquez, trying to win another Daytona race. Good luck next week, but let me win, all right?
We'll see about that. Thank you.
And Dylan Parker has caught up with our winner, Caden Fartkings.
Hey, Nat Kings, it's your old buddy Dylan up in the booth.
Let's go!
You was my pick. You was my pick from the start of this race. I sat there, I looked at you. You was my pick. I knew you hadn't got it done in a while. I was like, tonight's the night. Hey, Nat Kings gets it done. I watched y'all race. Sat there and noticed how you got up to the front. Walk me through it.
All right. Well, first, I got like the greatest push of all time from Luke Nupp, and we went 3 wide top. That was sick. And then the last 2 laps, it was just like destiny. Like if the whole field wrecks and you're the only person that makes it through, it was literally planned that you were gonna win the race. So that's just how I feel about it. Cause like there's no other way around it. Like you see, also someone said James Busher won this race. I was not in 10th. I was in the lead. Okay. So I wasn't like an upset. Okay. I was one of the front runners. Okay. But
Trust me, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah. Thanks to Dylan Parker for believing in me.
Yep. It was fun watching you all night. You made some moves. He's probably the most interesting to watch, other than Luke Knupp getting up through the field. So, congrats on that. Other than that, you got anyone you want to thank?
Yeah. Shout out Cruise Auto Racing. I shut down my team last season and I had no place to go, so I went pretty much to the same place. It's just a different name, kind of. But it's Cruise Auto Racing, legendary iRacing team. Thanks to Dane Cruz. Also shout out Noah, even though he ain't here. We love Noah Mayoria over here. He's a cool dude. And yeah, all you guys are also kind of cool too, I guess. So yeah.
Dang, only kinda.
Kinda. All right. 4 years. You know what? Never mind.
It's been like
Nice.
5 years I've known you.
That's all right. Nice win. And good luck in your future endeavors.
Thanks, buddy. You're actually extra cool.
Jesus.
Trouble in paradise.
Yeah, me and Christian's relationship's a lot more fonder, obviously. No, I'm just kidding.
Pause.
Well, gentlemen, I'll come back in the booth here now that the race is over. It was exciting there, but we got a little more important business here. You all got to get ready for race number 2 for the second duel here. What are your thoughts now getting ready to head into this thing after seeing that race?
Terrified.
Dawson, can you hold me? I'm scared.
I
Oh, who wants to go?
I'll go. I'm expecting a way worse race this time around. I don't know. The aura and the vibes I'm getting from this race, I feel like it's just going to be twice as bad as the last one, even though the last one wasn't that bad. But you picking up what I'm putting down.
I got you. Yeah, I'm afraid of the Mississippi Missile. So I'm going to the back because I saw what just happened to Luke, and that ain't going to happen to me. Not on my watch.
All right.
Well, gentlemen, we're going to let you guys get down to the race cars and get on the racetrack as we get the broadcast set up for duel number 2. Good luck out there. Best of luck. And congrats to Caden Atkins winning duel number 1 here at Daytona as we get ready to head into duel number 2. It was hectic and chaotic, but Cade Nackings walks away as the winner of duel number 1, and we saw some upsets. Duncan Faw making his way into the race with that last accident. He sneaks his way in 11th place. Congrats to Duncan on qualifying into next week. We're not sure yet who's out or what, but we'll find that out after this next duel. Don't go anywhere. We're taking on a quick break, and we'll be back with duel number 2 here at Daytona.
So what do you got in that loader, Tony?
Just did my mail run, Chase. 3,100 pounds of letters from the best fans on earth.
You have this many fans.
Yes.
You sure some of this isn't hate mail?
Nope. All fan mail.
This one's about weight loss.
That's not mine.
It has your name on it.
I'm a popular guy.
It says VIP membership renewal.
Not cool to read other people's mail, kid.
This isn't fan mail.
Mahindra, the official tractor of Tough and Stewart Haas Racing.
So, Ginny, what makes you an awesome different driver?
Well, there's a lot to it. Man, it's a rush. So what makes home selling with OfferPad awesome different?
Oh, so much. But with OfferPad, it's a lot more home selling stuff and a lot less bumping into people.
I don't bump into anyone.
Home selling with OfferPad is awesome different. Request your free cash offer today at OfferPad.com.
As we welcome you back here at Daytona International Speedway, the virtual home of auto racing. It is time for duel number 2. We saw some chaos, a lot of carnage, but in the end it was Cade Nackings who took home the checkered flag. And after that we got 2 drivers who found their way from the infield care center to the booth tonight. Joining me for duel number 2 in the booth, we have who was formerly the pole sitter but is no longer on the pole for the iRacing.Funny 250 this season, Luke Knupp, and last season's winner of the iRacing.Funny 250, Jeffrey Armistead. Luke, welcome to the booth. Jeffrey, first time here for you. How are you feeling after that first duel race?
Somehow I cleared concussion protocol. Didn't think that would happen, but overall it was pretty good all the way up until basically the last entry to the last corner. I felt like it was a pretty good race overall with everyone pushing pretty clean. I know that last wreck kind of happened from a push, but it didn't look like it was an egregious push or anything. So I felt fairly comfortable and confident with everyone we were racing around, even when we got 3 wide. Hopefully this race goes the same and can stay clean.
Yeah, that was a race, of course. I mean, starting on the pole, we were controlling the line on the inside and just doing what I needed to do, and then full on made a mistake and had to serve myself an EOL, and had fun coming from the back. Gave Caden Atkins some solid pushes, got us both inside the top 5, and then we dueled it out that green-white checkered. And honestly, I thought I was in a great spot, pushing him on the bottom down the backstretch until just got clipped and spun and wrecked and went up in the air. And I saw Jeffrey and I think Brett I was flipping with, so that was pretty fun. But unfortunately, we did not finish the race, so we will be rolling off most likely outside the top 30.
Yeah, but that's not a big problem, I would say. Having to start out back, it doesn't matter where you start. It's all about how you finish. And we did see that last season with those drivers for Circumference Ultimate Motorsports. They had that strategy starting in the back and working their way to the front at the end of the race. Ended up winning the race. So no worries about starting out back, I would say, in a race like this. So, but just going to lose out on that pole to start the season. But, Luke, talking about you, this last season, 5 wins, one of the most dominant performances I think we have seen in a while. What do you think you've got in store for 2024 to try and replicate that and even improve on it?
I got to clean up a few things, a few areas I need to do better in. Mainly just closing out races and making smarter decisions during the races. Made a costly one at the end of the season, and we're just hoping for another strong run all the way through the playoffs again, and see if we can close out a season. It felt like I deserved the championship, but I didn't win it. So, woulda, coulda, shoulda, and we'll see what we can do this season.
Alrighty, we look forward to seeing how it goes. But, of course, it all starts next week, next Tuesday night, with the iRacing.Funny 250 to kick off festivities for the regular season. Saw a big accident right there with a bunch of guys coming together, including right there, Jonathan Parker currently sits as the outside pole winner. He just needs to manage to make it across the start-finish line to hold on to that outside starting spot. And, of course, Luke, we mentioned you were locked in anyways. No, the worry wasn't about if you were going to miss the race. It was just about where you were going to start. Of course, not going to be starting on the pole we mentioned before, so that should slot Caden Atkins up, I believe. If that's the way it's going to work, Caden Atkins will be starting on the pole position for the iRacing.Funny 250. So we should be getting ready to just advance the session. There's 9 minutes and 40 seconds left, but I believe they are going to go ahead and fast forward that to getting it done.
I'll go ahead and let Dane know.
But before they do that, while we're sitting here waiting for it, start with you, Jeffrey. Who do you got pegged as your winner here for tonight's Duel 2?
Yeah, kind of looking at the entry list here, I know there's some guys that can race aggressively and can push and all that. A couple names that pop out to me are Ethan Fonseca Moreno. I know Christian Pacheco can push. But I'm going to go with my buddy, Michael Kruger. As long as he can keep it clean, he's really good at being aggressive and pushing at these races. So as long as he can stay clean, he's my guy.
So Michael Kruger is the pick for Mr. Jeffrey Armistead. Luke, who do you have your eye on to win tonight's Duel 2?
Thought hard about this one. There's a lot of good competitors in this one. Of course, Johnny Parker starting on the pole. Ethan Moreno, my teammate, right behind him. And Bridger Olson, who's starting 4th. But you also can't forget about Dylan Parker back there in 6th. But I'm going to have to go with the number 67 of Bridger Olson. He has always been a really smart and conservative plate racer, but he's always up front. And watch out for him on the last lap coming out of 4.
Already Bridger Olson a pick. I do believe he was a dual winner a couple seasons ago. I know he was an outside pole sitter back in season 10 for sure. But I'm going to go with a little bit of a wild card pick. I'm going to go with somebody a little further out there, I think, compared to other drivers that we see in the field. I am going to go with a 21 of Austin J. McGill. I feel like he's going to have the ability to run in that Wood Brothers Racing throwback. I think that 21 machine is going to find victory lane here in Duel 2 to try and make his way to the front for the iRacing.Funny 250. So we have got the second lineup of cars ready to go. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for this second duel here at Daytona. It's Jonathan Parker and Ethan Fonseca Moreno starting in the front row. Then behind them in row 2, it will be Michael Kruger and Bridger Olson. Row 3 sees Christian Pacheco and Dylan Parker. Then in row 4, Jake Scarborough and Blaine Sparling. And rounding out your top 10 is going to be Dalton Kelly and Hunter Karsten. JT Larsh will be starting in row 6 with Matthew Chastain to his outside. Then it's Jayden Porter and Micah Walls making up row 7. Row 8 sees Robert Lukens and Austin J. McGill. And then in row 9, it's Matt Steiner and Jamie Wright. Running out your top 20 is Dylan Thacker and Adam Kuhn. 21st, Anthony Marshall with Andrew Davis to his outside in 22nd. 23rd sees William Turnbull with Salvador Zavala, who is currently 24th. To start this race, he has to race his way in. And then it's Mike Lewis starting back in the back.
You guys ready for this or what?
I think
it's gonna be exciting race.
Yeah, it should definitely
ready to get it going. This is a lot lower stress to be watching it than to be in the actual race.
Yeah, I was pretty low stress going into my duel just because I was locked in. I really wanted to go win the duel, and it did not play out, and now we're not even starting on the pole. So, you know, we'll see how Johnny Parker plays this one out. I heard he's going to be going to the back and taking it conservative, but we'll see.
Well, we'll
I was going to say, I'm curious what his strategy would be here.
Well, we should be seeing here soon. The green flag is going to fly, racing in duel number 2 here at Daytona. Expect Parker to make his way to the backstretch and then turn it down on the apron to allow the rest of the field to go by. You got Michael Kruger and Christian Pacheco right behind him. The outside lane, Ethan Fonseca Moreno and Bridger Olson.
Side line is stacked up. 3 heavy hitters, Moreno, Olson, and Parker, with some more help behind them. Looks like the Pepsi teammates are all lined up.
Yeah, we'll see how long Parker stays up here. If he gets shuffled back, if he pulls his parachute, if he stays up here.
I'm hoping he stays up here. We're trying to convince him all week to race it out, but who knows after seeing how my duel went, what he'll do.
Well, I mean, starting up front, he still could see it as a way to stay up front, maybe contend. But if he does start to drop spots, I do think he will pull it down and drop it back. But see, he'll lead lap number 1 here. Moreno on the outside with Bridger Olson and the 3 of Dylan Parker trying to work it their way up to the front. That outside lane kind of fading back. It looks like Blaine Sparling kind of lost it a little bit. Jake Scarborough there in the inside lane behind Christian Pacheco, and behind him is Dalton Kelly in the 03. See, it looks like there you go. Jake Scarborough and Jonathan Parker are going to drop to the back.
I was just getting ready to say that bottom line was a lot better formed, but that has gone away now.
Yeah. Moreno clears for the lead, but expect Olson and Parker to push hard here. Those two are no strangers to, racing hard up front. So we'll see what they can do here.
And correct me if I'm wrong too, but they're usually the ones that we've seen before in the Slide Jump Racing League that have worked together, pushed to the front from way further back as just a tandem. To the point where sometimes we'd see one of them blow an engine as they work together to the front. So definitely 2 very aggressive racers when they get together in a draft, and they're very good at working their way to the front. But right now, sitting in the outside lane, outside of Michael Kruger and Christian Pacheco, Ethan Fonseca Moreno clear out front. Renumbered this season, the number 29. We're going to see a lot of Kevin Harvick paint schemes out of Ethan Fonseca Moreno this season. The first one tonight is that black Budweiser scheme he ran back in 2011 and 2012.
Yeah, they always look so good. I miss the Budweiser schemes, and it's pretty cool to see bringing those back.
Oh, I'm a big Harvick fan. Although I'm also looking at the guy behind him in the 41. I wonder if that's supposed to be an inversion of Tony Stewart's number. Because I know Mikey's a big Tony Stewart fan.
Actually, I do believe it is. The 14, I do believe, was taken at some point in this league. But Michael Kruger has kind of adapted the 41 to being his own. And Jeffrey, I know you use the 0-2 as well as a Tony Stewart homage. Because number 20, as you can see, is taken in this league as well. That being driven by Robert Lukens.
Like Tony Stewart.
He's got that nice 2002 to 2004 paint scheme on it. Won a championship with that.
Oh, big stack up on the bottom there. Looks like the outside's got some help now, got some life back into it, and they're going to make a charge for the front.
Looks like Micah Walls, Blaine Sparling, Hunter Karsten, Matthew Chastain, another 28 back there. Jaden Porter jumping to the outside lane. So now we're starting to get back to 2x2 as they go back through the field as we complete lap number 4. We got 16 laps to go, and you see there, though, Dylan Parker. Parker, yeah, going to drop it back here.
Have to figure he got hot there and just, you know, being lap 5 of the duel, he's taking it smart and dropping it in the back. There's a little opening behind Jaden Porter.
Ooh, a little uneasy down the bottom. Look, it was Austin J. McGill that was swerving back and forth as the field's still stacking up nice and tight together. As it sits right now, last car on the bubble is Dylan Thacker. The way the field is determined, the top 14 will be the ones that automatically qualify in at the conclusion of this race. We saw chaos leading to it at the end of duel number 1. We might see it again, but right now Dylan Thacker in the 70 car holds the final transfer spot as they're still battling up front for the race lead. Bridger Olson now with help from Michael Walls pushing him.
What scheme is Dylan Thacker running tonight?
Let's take a look and see.
Anyone know?
Well, we can see right now. It looks like right now he's showing up as a Burning Rubber Podcast paint scheme.
Not one of the other ones. Nice. It's a good looking scheme. I think Jake Scarborough made that for him.
See rookie stripes on that number 70 car. His first couple starts, I believe, this season here in the Slide Job Racing Season 12. Getting ready to kick off here next week. We see Bridger Olson getting out to the front, still side by side though, trying to edge out in front of Ethan Fonseca Moreno. Just can't quite do it. Moreno continues to maintain that race lead with help from Michael Kruger.
That bottom line is holding it pretty well. The outside line's kind of drifting apart, and really what's really important is getting that third driver up on the second driver to maintain the momentum, and they're not quite stacked up together like they should be to keep pushing forward, but we are also only 6 laps into this race. Just as I say that here, they all come together. That top line is formed.
Yeah, I was trying to come from the back after that restart. With about 10 to go, and was pushing Caden Atkins 3 wide and lost all my help behind, and it was pretty much over from there. And then got a little bit of help behind me, and we started digging and almost got him to the lead until unfortunate caution came out. But yeah, as long as you have someone on their bumper pushing the second car, you guys are going to be digging.
Yeah, now we can see the top 3 they've gotten clear. You can see that top line, they're just not formed up as strongly.
It's fluctuating back and forth, fading back, then rolling back up, but Bridger Olson still trying to push forward in the outside lane. You see there's still 2x2 all the way back. It looks like the first car that's not really is 22nd, Dylan Parker, who's still going to have to fight his way to the front. He's got Salvador Zavala behind him in 23rd. The 09 of Andrew Davis currently 24th. And Jonathan Parker, we mentioned him being safe. He might be a little safe all the way out back. He's just a little safe, I would say. I think he's in a good spot to not wreck out, you know, barring anything crazy happening. He's going to end up getting lapped probably in this race, too, with 12 laps to go and half a track away from the field. So not necessarily safe, but definitely trying to stay safe.
Well, if he gets lapped, that might not be good for him, but...
Yeah. I was going to say, that just reminds me of when Jimmy was running and Chad would have just run solo laps in practice the entire time.
Missed that combo. They were hard to beat.
Well, they're back together in the Hall of Fame now.
Yep.
I do believe...
It is pretty... Oh.
Go ahead, Luke.
I was going to say, it is pretty cool to see some of these, you know, drivers like Ethan Moreno and Jonathan Parker, and you got Christian Pacheco running their favorite drivers' old past schemes. You know, it's pretty cool to see, you know, them bringing back those great schemes, and it's cool to see them on track.
Yeah, that Wrangler scheme, it had some success here with Dale Jr.
Yes, it did.
And that's the fun thing about this is, seeing all these different schemes that everybody comes up with. You got drivers that run numbers and paint schemes that are homages to some of their favorite drivers. You see that, like we mentioned, the Harvick and the Stewart schemes, the Dale Jr. scheme, a William Byron scheme even. And then you got drivers that run, their own thing. They make their own, ways. Like we see the Pepsi Racing Team cars, with Blaine Sparling, Dylan Parker, and Matthew Chastain. It's just so fun to see together. And I think even peeking back a little further, Matt Steiner, the 38, of course, the one ever Elliott Sadler fan, driving an Elliott Sadler scheme. I didn't even know they made those. But Hunter Karsten!
There you go. Big wreck.
Hunter Karsten just got turned into the outside wall.
Was there a little bit of netcode there, or did he fade up? I thought I saw him come up a little bit into Jaden Porter, but we'll have to see on the instant replay.
Andrew Davis involved as well. We're going to take a look at your JCTV replay, or as Dylan Parker kept calling it, JCTV replay. We're going to rewind back here and see just what happened to Hunter Karsten to put him into the outside wall. It looked like just racing hard. You said Jaden Porter got to his outside. Couldn't quite tell what had happened with the 13. Maybe just a late move to pull up.
He's trying to block, and then, a bad push from Matthew Chastain.
Yeah, it kind of looked like he got in between the middle and the top lanes, and that's a danger zone.
Yeah, you never want to be indecisive at a plate track. You always want to commit to the move, or else you're probably going to be in the outside wall.
It looked like the 70 of Dylan Thacker also involved in that accident too. A pretty hard hit to the outside wall for Dylan Thacker, which is going to be big for his chances of making this race, I believe. It's going to be kind of fringe. But you see right there, yeah, just an attempt at a block. Didn't go well. And right here, actually Jake Scarborough, and then Dylan Thacker as well. William Turnbull was in it.
Turnbull, Mike Lewis. It looks like Adam Kuhn got a little bit of that one.
Yeah, there was some hard hits there.
A lot of drivers just innocent bystanders in that one.
Right on board with the 19 of Adam Kuhn.
He got a little bit of it.
Oh, he definitely got a lot of it.
Yeah, he got a lot of
The way
it.
that hood looked.
Yeah, that definitely was not good for a lot of drivers that need to race their way in or on the bubble when it comes to their speed in qualifying.
Yep, I was my first year racing for the iRacing.Funny 250. I was one of those bubble drivers who really had to race my way in, and I knew my best shot was to, just try to get up front as fast as I could, because I think you see in these duels a little bit more of the wrecks happen in the back. And, I think the front is honestly the safest place to be. Or if you're like Jonathan Parker, you want to be 23 seconds behind and miss that wreck.
Yeah, unless it's the last lap, you pretty much want to be about top 5 or so, or you want to be way out back.
Yep. Well, if you were top 5 in Duel 1, you were in the catch fence, so who knows?
Yeah, I think I might have crossed the start-finish line 5th or so for the white flag, and I definitely touched the catch fence.
Yeah, I was right there with you.
We had a few people competing in the high jump.
I'm going to have a good time watching the broadcast later tonight and listen to Dawson just raise his voice. See how high of a pitch he gets on that one.
Yeah, I went back and watched a little bit of that last lap crash, and there was an excellent camera view from the campers, and you could just barely see my car and Brett's car, and I think Luke's car. Just 3 cars happened to launch above the campers, and then other than that, you just saw all the nice campers.
So that camera angle is listed as a drone camera, and it's supposed to be for turns 3 and 4. And I will use that camera right now because it's supposed to be kind of like this, where it pans around by the track. And you can kind of see the infield and also the track as well. It's supposed to do that, and then right here, it digs into the campers. So the accident happens at this part of the racetrack where it's in the campers.
There's a non-zero chance one of those flying cars damaged the cable. You never know.
Here's the other drone camera right here where you can see you can't. And then there is the accurate drone camera that exists right there, independent of the individual turn cameras. Shout out to the creator of these camera packs on the iRacing forums for doing an excellent job with these cameras, by the way. These are all used across every broadcast that I produce, at least here on JCTV. I love this camera pack. I love the way the cameras are. I love the static shots that we can get on the track as well, such as a shot like this when they head into turn 1. it's great. It gives a nice extra added feel of, different ways to show action on the racetrack, and it's just a lot of fun to play with. So just a little, insight into how these JCTV broadcasts work. It's just fun to do this kind of stuff and, have the ways you can see. You see Michael Kruger on the bottom. Looks like him and Bridger Olsen and Michael Walls trying to save some extra fuel here. Going to try to pull the same strategy we saw from the first duel of staying out instead of pitting and just saving fuel. Looks like so far the top 11 elected to stay out. Did not take any tires, any fuel, nothing. Then you go back. Robert Lukens is the first off pit road back in, which should be about 12th. So it's a split decision here on who all went down pit road that time and who all stayed out. So we'll see who benefits and who loses on that gamble.
Yeah, with the caution, they should all be able to make it on fuel. It might get a little questionable for a green-white checker, but I was curious. We saw them pretty orderly, even though they were 2x2 for a while, if they were taking a little bit easy to maybe save a little gas. But now that's kind of out the window.
And joining us as well here, got to cut you off real quick. Sorry, Luke. With 7 laps to go, coming up with 6 laps to go, we're going to have another addition quickly to the JCTV booth. Brayton Laster finished 15th in duel number 1. Brayton, we got 6 laps to go. Have you been keeping up with this second duel race?
No, I've been eating burgers and fries. Let me tell you, I tore some stuff up in that first duel, and I'm sure these guys are going to tear some stuff up in the second one.
Well, we'll see. Luke, what were you going to say? Yeah.
Yes, you did. I was going to say, did anyone notice Ethan Moreno actually chose the top lane with his teammate, or, Discord teammate, Christian Pacheco. We'll see how that works out for them when they come back to green.
Well, the launch wasn't good for Pacheco. Moreno clears, but I think he maybe had a deal in line with Michael Kruger to get right back down in front of the 41 because he does so. 6 laps to go, and now Moreno lines up with Kruger. Olsen now thought about peaking high, instead going to stay in the bottom lane. Pacheco is going to get freight train on the outside. Somewhere
everybody at the top, they just collapsed down to the bottom, and Christian's all alone.
Somewhere I heard Jonathan Parker say the only person who gets to run a train on Christian Pacheco is me. But, he drops back in line, files back in line into 7th. Moreno leading the field, a long line of cars here on the inside lane before we get back to the back. It's Jamie Wright currently leading the outside lane with Robert Lukens in tow behind him. Now Blaine Sparling jumps to the high side. 5 laps to go. It's go time. The gloves are coming off. We're going to see some people swinging for the fences here, trying to get up front to win this duel.
I was surprised to see Bridger Olsen not take that run that was coming on the outside line, but I think he's just playing it safe here. You got 5 to go, still a lot of time to go, and we'll see what they can do up here.
And they're staggered 3 wide in the back for the transfer spot. Funny figuring it out, but Anthony Marshall, not really sure what he's doing. Got a lot of damage. He's kind of hanging back, trying to get a run going into 3, but about 3/4 tenths off the speed pack, trying to pull a Gabe Cajola, either wreck the field in turn 1 or sneak a spot in if he can.
And right now, the transfer spot belongs to Matt Steiner in the 14th. This 38 trying to make his way into the big race. You see the field fanning out all around. The battle is for the lead. Here comes Blaine Sparling with help from Jamie Wright. 4 laps to go.
I'm expecting some crazy blocks to be thrown if Ethan has a chance. He told me he will do anything to win this race, so we'll see what he does. But you got Blaine Sparling in that Pepsi Racing car. A lot of unfamiliar faces up front, which is cool to see.
Michael Kruger turned!
There goes Michael Kruger.
Sliding, saving it, not going to nose into the inside wall, but that's going to drop him out of contention. Moreno to the inside, Dylan Parker's right there. Austin J. McGill somehow, some way is still having to fight it, and he saves it. Are you kidding me? Robert Lukens to the race lead.
Have you ever?
Still green, 3 to go.
This is really going to change up.
Came out of nowhere.
Robert Lukens and Christian Pacheco with Blaine Sparling and Jamie Wright on the bottom. Bridger Olsen now joining the top line. Here comes Ethan Moreno and Dylan Parker. It's an 8 or 9 car breakaway here with Michael Walls about a 1.5 seconds behind.
Matthew Chastain earlier on, before they got there, before Michael Kruger got turned, had dropped back out of that lead pack for a second. Oh, Pacheco saving it. Dylan Parker saving it. Pacheco saving it still. No! Matthew Chastain! Dale Earnhardt impression. Anthony Marshall piles in.
Oh.
We are going to overtime. Oh my God. Look, what are we going to look at right here?
The ARCA break of the century.
I'm talking about the JCTV replay. But
the JCTV replay.
Thank you. Need clarification on what we were about to do here. This was a death on multiple levels. I mentioned that Dale Earnhardt, you see there, Pacheco tried to duplicate it, but then right here, he ends up causing it. Just contact with Matt Chastain and bang! Hard into the outside wall. And then right here, Anthony Marshall piles in.
Oh, man.
You see Jonathan Parker.
I don't know about you guys. I don't know about you guys, but I just saw what Anthony Marshall did. I'm writing that down. I'm taking that, and I'm running with it.
We'll watch on board with Anthony Marshall.
Man, he was in that throttle.
Oh, and right into Dylan Parker, too.
You know, I respect the commitment out of Marshall.
No, yeah. 100%.
If Dylan Parker's rear end's knocked out of it, he's going to be taking his provisional. Johnny Parker, of course, misses it, you know, but he's doing what he needs to do.
You know, one person that unexpectedly lost out in that whole deal with Michael Kruger got spun a couple laps ago and actually towed to the pits, thinking his race was over, didn't have any hopes. I mean, he doesn't have a whole lot of damage, but he's got to stay in the pits now for 2 or 3 minutes and lose a couple laps even. So, I mean, he could have restarted at the tail of the lead lap cars and just kept going, but Michael Kruger started third in this race and now might have to watch it and finish a couple laps down.
Tough decision there.
Definitely one of the decisions I've ever seen.
At the same time, I don't think he's going to have to worry too much. I do believe he had a really good qualifying time. In fact, he did. It was 6th fastest, so you can fall back on that fast lap.
Yeah, and I think he also was finished high enough in points last year with people locking in off races that he was pretty much a lock either way, so he'll be sitting pretty.
Yeah, I do believe
one thing will be after that first duel and the crashing in that, and now the crashing in this one, a lot of those spots for people to fall back on their qualifying time are going to be taken by some fast qualifiers.
And let me tell you, I am puckered up, sweating bullets right now watching these guys higher, faster qualifying times than me because I don't know how to qualify. As they're getting wrecked out, they're getting damaged. Jonathan Parker's still in the pit. Dylan Parker, I don't know if they're related, but probably not. Parker doesn't even have half a car, so I don't know if he's going to come back out. Christian Pacheco, he's actually, I'm not posh, but he's still in the pits getting damaged. But all these high-up qualifiers, I mean, I'm sitting here sweating bullets. I'm sure people below me were hoping to get provisional. So it's going to come down, I think, to those last couple of tenths that separated that 15th to 25th or so spot. But that's where the final provisional for qualifying time will probably fall around there, that 15th to 20th spot.
Yeah, just kind of looking through. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Dawson. I keep talking.
I was going to say, yeah, looking through the field, like some of the guys that wrecked out of this race, Hunter Karsten was 20th fastest in qualifying. Jake Scarborough, 14th fastest. Michael Kruger, we mentioned the towing. I mean, he was 6th fastest. Christian Pacheco was 10th fastest. A lot of these guys at fast laps, Dylan Parker was 12th fastest. A lot of these guys that had fast runs are likely out of it here, not going to be able to continue on. So that's really going to shake things up. As it stands right now, the final spot, William Turnbull is currently in the catbird seat in that 44, but Adam Kuhn has still got a fighting chance. 16th place on the lead lap. If he can get up there in battle with Turnbull, that's going to be the battle to keep your eyes on, the battle for 14th. It's really only down to just Adam and Turnbull. And JT Larsh is there, as is Mike Lewis. Those are the guys that are going to be fighting it out for this final spot as we go double file, getting ready to go back green overtime here in duel number 2.
Salvador Zavala in 10th right now, to not interrupt you, but he was one of the drivers that came into this race having to race his way in. He did not set a qualifying time, started all the way back in 24. Currently sitting in the 10th spot, but we saw as a last tool, you can go from dead last. Gabe Cazola was about 20 seconds off the lead pack, and he was just shy of making that, I do believe. So, I mean, you can go from last to inside a transfer spot pretty quickly, especially with this green-white checkered shoe that we got coming up.
Now, you mentioned Gabe Cazola. He did make it. He did qualify in with his finish.
That's my go.
Yeah,
actually, I don't think he did because Nathan DiChiani actually finished on track in 12th position, but drove backwards after the race and got himself disqualified. So I think that's going to be up to admin discretion. So Gabe Cazola is not technically locked in yet. We're going to have to review that one.
I gotcha.
We'll see how that plays out.
Well, we'll see how that pans out. We probably will not have your starting lineup on the end of tonight's broadcast, the way things are shaping up to be a little hectic and chaotic, but that's okay. We have got instead just an exciting finish to duel number 2. Blaine Sparling leading the field with Jamie Wright to his outside. Then it's Robert Lukens, Ethan Fonseca Moreno. Bridger Olson is going to line up third in the inside lane with Jaden Porter to his outside. Then it's Michael Walls, Dalton Kelly, Matt Steiner, and you mentioned it, Salvador Zavala. He has to race his way in. He's sitting in a good spot, 10th place right now. Remember, the top 14 are those that transfer in. Pace car is going to take that hard left turn down pit lane, leaving the field in the hands of the 59 of Blaine Sparling. Overtime in Duel 2 as they head to the restart zone. The green flag flies. 2 more laps here at Daytona.
Good launch for both lines, but Ethan Moreno a little bit off. The inside line is formed way better as there's big gaps on the outside line. I think the inside line is going to roll here.
A lot of slow cars, but look at who is out there on the racetrack. Look at how skewed that car is. Dylan Parker, he is in 12th. He is pushing forward with that 3 machine.
He
got
doesn't
some help.
need to
That's
race his way
Zavala.
in.
You got Zavala right behind him who's desperately trying to get in such goodbye. Dylan Parker, get out of my way. He's tired of looking at all 3 corners at the same time. But Zavala with some help now from Parker, Jonathan Parker, trying to get race his way in too.
Jonathan Parker's locked in. He has got that second spot locked in. He can drop the spot to Adam if he wants to, in which case he will be pushed by Adam, who is shoving the 48 now. Adam Kuhn is now in the transfer spot as we hit the white flag. 1 more lap. It's Jamie Wright leading. Moreno's in second, but he has a chance to make the move if he wants to.
Pretty sure both Parkers are actually locked in. Dylan, a past champion, he's locked in. Johnny, of course, he's on the front row. He's locked in. So those two really have nothing to race for, but here comes Sparling.
Yeah, all they're racing for is just to see how they finish. But right now we're watching the battle for the win. Blaine Sparling to the outside with help from Bridger Olson. Jamie Wright thought about blocking, couldn't quite get up there. Moreno's now going to have to shove the 89 car. A lot more tame through 3 and 4 this field goes as they come to the start-finish line. Oh, Jamie Wright trying to block the outside lane. Couldn't quite do it. Coming to the stripe. It's going to be close, and it's going to be, I believe, Blaine Sparling is going to win duel number 2 here at Daytona.
Olson got second as well.
Andrew Davis stole the last spot there. I mean, they were 3 wide coming off of turn 4, and Jonathan Parker actually pulled to the apron to let those guys around him. And that's going to allow Andrew Davis the last transfer spot. Salvador Zavala also races way in. One of the drivers that had to race their way in.
Yeah, those two, Jonathan and Dylan Parker, had nothing to race for, so them dropping out right there allows Andrew Davis, Adam Kuhn, Salvador Zavala, and Matt Steiner all to lock in there, but we're looking up front. Blaine Sparling is going to be starting 4th. Michael Walls piles into Bridger Olson. Woo-wee.
Blaine Sparling, that's his, one of his first wins in the league, I'm pretty sure. Starting the season off right with a dual win.
He is going to burn it down. You see Adam Kuhn going to drive by, locked his way into the show for next week.
He's a rookie at burnouts. He hit the wall.
Les Blaine.
Both Parkers had that past series champion provisional. So I don't know exactly what the ranking's going to be as far as they're going to go in based off of top. Well, Jonathan Parker's on the pole, but Dylan Parker, technically he should get the higher up starting spot based off his qualifying time. But then I don't know how they wanted to do those final couple of spots. Well, the ranking, I guess, as far as provisional or qualifying time comes first.
I'm pretty sure with provisionals it is based off of qualifying time. So I will be the first provisional because of qualifying on the pole, but wrecking out, and then so on and so forth. So it's pretty much just like that. It'll be the top 28, and then however 29 and 30 go or whatever, blah, 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 and then provisionals from about 30 to 40.
Well, alrighty,
But
we'll get over that. I guess at some point here, we'll probably post a little something. We might do something to try to showcase the field for the iRacing.Funny 250 next week at Daytona. But now we're gonna look at your finishing results: Blaine Sparling, Bridger Olson, Jamie Wright, the top three. Then it was Michael Walls and Ethan Fonseca Moreno to wrap up the top five. JT Larsh brought it home sixth, and Robert Lukens, Dalton Kelly, Jaden Porter, and Austin J. McGill. That was your top 10. Matt Steiner, Salvador Zavala, Adam Kuhn, and Andrew Davis all racing their way into the iRacing.Funny 250. Then you see Jonathan Parker and Dylan Parker. They are locked in next week no matter what, so they're not too concerned with the 15th and 16th. But William Turnbull, Mike Lewis, Christian Pacheco, and Anthony Marshall. Then it's Matthew Chastain, Michael Kruger, Jake Scarborough, Dylan Thacker, and Hunter Karsten rounding out your field. There's going to be some guys there in that back half right there, I believe, that are not going to be making it to next week. Because of some of those heavy hitters that ended up losing out, like Michael Kruger, Christian Pacheco, guys that qualified up front, they're not going to be able to, take those spots. So we'll see some D&Qs here shortly. By shortly, I mean tomorrow. We're not going to see them tonight's broadcast. But first things first, we've got special guests in the booth. Jeffrey Armistead, Luke Knupp. I'm putting you on the spot even further because you all are going to get a chance to interview some of our drivers. So I think the bow and I'll throw first. I will throw to Jeffrey, who's going to interview our third place finisher, Jamie Wright. Whenever we find him. There he is.
Drag him in here if we have to.
Drag him in kicking and screaming.
All right. Jamie Wright, this is Jeffrey Armistead in the JCTV booth. Brought it home third tonight. How did that go, and what are your thoughts for next week?
Oh, man, I was a nervous wreck the entire race. The Jake Scarborough Racing boys brought me a good car, as always. And, man, those final few laps, I was just missing everything just barely. And I look forward to next week. I think we have a really good shot at a really good finish.
All right, yeah, and I saw you started 19th, so that's a tough spot to be in. You almost feel like you have to race your way in. You got to be careful, and you're able to keep it clean all night and had the lead coming out of turn 4. Was there anything you learned tonight that you think you can apply to next week?
Yeah, I need to block a little bit faster, I guess. I was only looking for 14th, so I'm really glad that I got up to the front. So at least I know I can make the moves and I can avoid the wrecks well enough to get up there.
All right. Was there anybody that you want to shout out for your good finish tonight?
Of course, going to thank Jake Scarborough Racing, all of my teammates, Burning Rubber Podcast, John Plays Games Alive, and all of my wonderful sponsors.
All right. Well, thanks, Jamie. Good luck next week. And that was Jamie Wright, finishing third here in the iRacing.Funny Duel.
And now we will kick it to Luke Knupp, who is going to give us an interview, if he's here, of Bridger Olson.
Yeah.
To which I don't see.
I can drag him. Bridger Olson. It's the boys up in the JCTV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
So, you were actually my pick to win tonight, so unfortunately you let me down. One spot short, but just walk me through your race. How was it out there?
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's my bad. Yeah, the race started off meh. Couldn't get up to the lead like I wanted, but then caution came out and I had another chance to get up to the lead, but I didn't. Then I kind of had to make my way back through the field a bit, and I put myself in a good spot on the green-white checkered. I probably could have put Blaine 3 going into 3, but I chose not to and got second.
Yeah, one of my main reasons for picking you to win tonight was just how smart you are in these plate races. You have so much experience and you really know how to put yourself in those right positions to be up front late in the race, and you did just that. So you got a long 250 miles to go next week. So what's your game plan? How you feeling? What are you expecting next week?
I'm gonna go balls to the wall. I'm gonna try to get that win. I'm gonna do whatever it takes. And yeah, hopefully it works out.
That's what I like to hear. Well, Is there anyone you'd like to thank for getting you out here tonight?
Yeah, thank you to Cruz Auto Racing. Thank you to my team owner Dane Cruz for uh uh thank you to Aiden for winning Duel 1. I wish I could have got the sweep, but oh well.
Well, congratulations, and I'll see you out on track next week.
Thank you.
And now with that, we will get what I believe should be a first-time interview on JCTV here for our race winner. Looking to see wherever Blaine may be hiding out at.
Oh, I'll drag him as well.
Oh, you must have some secret chat that I can't see then, is what I'm hearing.
He's in admin channel.
Oh, I gotcha. Well, we got him here now. Blaine Sparling, first win here since in the Sledgehammer Racing League, first time to victory lane since 2022 in Season 8, but most importantly, it's your first time to victory lane on JCTV. How does that feel getting this dual win here tonight?
It feels really good. I am happy to be talking to you guys for the first time. I was a little bit nervous restarting on the green-white checkered because that's usually not where you want to be, and I definitely got shuffled back, but I got a crazy good run out of turn 3 on the last lap, and I just pulled up with nobody behind me, and then I look in my rearview mirror, and Bridger was there, and even though he's not in my chat and could not hear me, I was shouting his name, so maybe he had some like mental lock on my brain, and he could hear me telepathically. Because if it wasn't for his push, I definitely would not have gotten the W. But I mean, that's definitely where you want to be, on the outside with the push coming to the checkered flag. So yeah, just got lucky to be in the right place and have somebody behind me to give me the shove. So yeah, was a fun race though. It was a good time. I'm definitely happy I won. Feeling good about it.
Well, absolutely. Helping try to build momentum towards next week. Of course, you're going to be starting 4th outside of Road 2. How does that feel to kind of work towards now the big race looming ahead next Tuesday night?
Well, generally in a race that long, I would definitely just try to hang out in the back at the start and avoid whatever chaos is going. But I think since I'm starting in the front, I'll just do the opposite and try to hang out like way at the front, and hopefully that will keep me out of trouble too. Because in a race that long, there's gonna be yellows, no doubt. So it's just, and it's all luck. I mean, everyone has a different strategy on how to avoid it, but at the end of the day, it's really just getting lucky to make sure you don't get caught up in that kind of stuff, so you can still be around at the end. But I mean, either way, it's a good start to the season, good momentum, new team, new teammates. So yeah, it's good to get that started off on the right foot too.
Well, alrighty, finding victory lane here tonight in the duel at Daytona. Teammates, sponsors, shoutouts. What got you here to victory lane tonight?
Well, I got to thank my wife because she doesn't bug me every time I want to jump on the computer and race fake race cars on the internet. So she's my number one shout out always. But also want to give a shout out to like Noah and all the guys that run Slide Job and keep this stuff going, because obviously we all really enjoy racing here. So the other shout out is to everyone who makes this league happen and keeps it on track and puts all the behind the scenes effort in. So without those people who run the league, I wouldn't be here talking to you right now. So yeah, those are the people that I want to shout out to.
Well, alrighty, that is your race
Blaine,
winner
you're my
here.
goat.
It's your race winner in Duel 2, Blaine Sparling. Congrats again, Blaine.
Thanks, appreciate it.
I just had to jump in there because he led our team in the 24 hours of Daytona to a second place. So
yeah, Luke was my teammate in the Daytona 24, and we got a podium in that race too. So I guess it's all good so far here in January.
All good at Daytona.
I was in that race.
We absolutely demolished Jeffrey Armistead in the 33 SBLD car. They had nothing for us.
Well, I was pretty good. It was some unfortunate incidents for some of our other drivers did not go well.
Tell me about it.
So what happened on pit exit with Brett Bennett?
He was just being Brett Bennett, wanted to do an Austin Powers impersonation.
All right. Well, Jeffrey, Brayton, Luke, you join me for race number 2 here at Daytona. What were your closing thoughts on how that race went?
I'll go first. I didn't watch half of it, but the second half that I did watch was fantastic. I mean, a much better finish than the first duel. They didn't have some idiot throw a bad bump and wreck half the field, but hey, do have those sometimes. And but definitely good race.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah, go ahead, Luke.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was a great race overall. Only one caution, two cautions. Yeah. But they kept it relatively clean. Brain fart moment there, but yeah, super clean finish. Happy to see that compared to Duel 1, and honestly, with how much people have to rely on their qualifying times, and honestly, big hitters not making the show, I think it's gonna turn out to be a crazy wild iRacing.Funny 250.
Yeah, I thought that second duel was very solid. Obviously, they did not have the last lap pile up like we had in Duel 1. So there's a couple different ways these races can go, and we saw them unfold very differently coming down to the wire. But it was good to see a clean finish in this one, 2 wide for the win, and looking forward to next week.
Well, alrighty, gentlemen. Thank you for joining me, and of course, good luck for next week. We had a lot of fun in this drivers broadcast night tonight from Duel 1 with the help of Jonathan Parker, Dylan Parker, Adam Kuhn, and Michael Hoover, and then, of course, here in Duel 2 with Luke Knupp, Jeffrey Armistead, and Brayton Lasters. Thanks, guys, and for racing next week. Best of luck, and we look forward to it. So coming up on JCTV, of course, this Friday night, Saturday night off. Not racing in the NAOR series or in the AmsOil Truck series. We will return on Monday night with Total Nonstop Racing's second, or technically third race of the season, I should say, at Dover. Don't want to miss that. Tune in on Monday night at about 8 p.m. Eastern to catch all the action there for the trucks at Dover. And then, of course, next Tuesday night, Slide Jawb Racing League kicks off Season 12 with the iRacing.Funny 250. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a good one. 100 laps at Daytona. It's going to be a fun one. I want to thank you, as always, for tuning into these races, and for everybody that joined us in the booth tonight. Thank you for allowing us to put on such a fun broadcast for tonight for the duels. Congrats again to Caden Atkins and Blaine Sparling taking the duel wins here tonight, and we hope to see you next week at Daytona. For everybody at JCTV, this is Dawson Allen signing off, saying so long, and have a great rest of your night.
Running on empty, caffeine drained.